The boss of one UK company who's gone from being a new age traveller to a green energy business tycoon. He's the founder of Ecotricity, which is one of the UK's leading suppliers of green energy. It's a not-for-dividend company, which means it reinvests its customers' payments in what they dub from bills into mills, building solar parks and wind turbines. So I spoke to Ecotricity's chief executive and founder, Dale Vince, who began by telling me how this all started.
I spent 10 years living on the road in off-grid, in trucks and trailers and stuff like that, pursuing an alternative lifestyle. And towards the end of that decade, I had a small windmill powering my trailer. And we're talking about 1990 here. And I saw the first big windmills kind of appear in the world, was conscious of the climate crisis and that the way we make electricity in our country was the biggest single cause, burning fossil fuels to make electricity. And I decided that I should drop back in and try to change how that happened. I thought I could spend another 10 years living a low impact lifestyle myself. I could drop back in and try and build big windmills and change how electricity is made in our country.
So, and yes, you've done that successfully. So, for example, you're providing power via 75 windmills to something like 117,000 homes. That was statistics that I read. Correct me if that's wrong. But what needs to happen across the country? We've got these legally binding carbon targets, emissions targets, etc. How are we going to reach those?
As soon as we don't have a Conservative government that have banned onshore wind and made it difficult for solar, as soon as we don't have that, then we have an abundance of resource, enough wind and sun to power the country 10 times over. They're the fastest, cleanest, cheapest forms of energy we can build, and it needs no public money. So within a decade, we could get from where we are now, which is 50% green electricity on the grid, to 100%.
So you have faith in the Labour Party. You are investing in the Labour Party. You believe they will deliver on this, do you, if they are in government?
Well, I don't see it as an investment. I've been giving money to Labour probably for 10 years or something like that. Also to the Greens, the Lib Dems, to Greenpeace, to all kinds of good causes, people that are trying to do good in the world.
So what is next as far as Ecotricity is concerned? Of course, you've really pushed through in wind power. What are your thoughts on what you might do next?
Getting to 100% green electricity on the grid is only half the challenge. We've then got to replace fossil gas in our lives. And we introduced the concept of green gas to Britain in 2010. We built our first green gas mill last summer, which turns grass into mains gas. And there's a huge piece of work to be done there to create a national program. We're also involved in the education sector. We run something called the Ministry of Eco-Education. I think we've reached 4 million school children in the last year with lessons and whole school curricula themed on sustainability. We also make school dinners. We make diamonds from atmospheric carbon. We make small windmills as well. And we've got some other stuff in R&D. So, there's a lot of stuff to do. One of the most exciting things is tidal lagoons, which is a kind of a way of making power that's not been done before yet in the world. Oh, and there's one other thing. We're making protein from grass as well, human edible protein.
So from your perspective, are you hopeful about the future? There is so much gloom and doom out there about the climate, about the challenges facing the planet, etc. From a global point of view, your thoughts?
I am excited and optimistic because of this fact. Very recently, I would say within the last 2 or 3 years, these two worlds have collided, the world of the environment and the world of the economy. They're both portrayed by the color green. They used to be quite separate, and we used to have to pay for one with the other. We paid for the environment as a nice to have with money from the economy. Today, it's completely different. They've overlapped completely, and the environment is the way that we power our economy. The economic argument for what we need to do is overwhelming. And fighting the climate crisis and all of the other problems that we've built up through burning fossil fuels, they become the icing on the cake. The argument now is this is the most economic thing that we can do. It's the biggest opportunity since the first industrial revolution. That makes me very positive.